their political opinions. We'll now be pleased to hear from Laura.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what my husband Folasa Ah Loo always said, and that's what I'm doing today as well. Standing here speaking to you in the middle of a deep grief that I never asked for and a heartbreak that I wouldn't wish on anyone, nor do I or my beautiful children deserve. I am feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Staying silent would be easier, but silence won't bring him back. And silence won't protect the next event from a similar incident or the next family from getting the kind of call that shattered my world and my kids' world. Everyone thinks a shooting won't affect them directly until it does. My husband was killed at a peaceful protest. He showed up that day, as he always did, to stand with 10,000 others for what they believed in. He was passionate about activism and was always supportive of worthy causes. He believed in justice, compassion, and the power of people coming together to effect change for good. For Afa, his life's work was about community over competition, showing that representation matters in creative spaces, caring over apathy, and not just talking about it, but being about it. To Afa, talk was cheap and came across as hollow unless you were willing to actually do something about it and be about it. He went about doing, serving, and putting his ideas and words to action. Thoughts and prayers and hoping things will change can only go so far unless accompanied by actual meaningful action, or as some would say, faith without works is dead. My husband often believed that everyone, no matter their background, their status, or their story, deserved to be seen, heard, and loved. He touched lives across so many communities, and I've felt the ripple of his absence in every single one of them. This is not just my loss or my family's loss, but a loss to every person he ever showed up for. And believe me, that's a lot of people because he always showed up. Let me be very clear. This is not a debate over rights. The very fact that my husband was at a protest is a protected First Amendment right and is something that people should be able to do without having to fear for their lives while doing so in a public space. This is about responsibility and a call to action, to real action. We need to not only disagree better, but also to deliver better. True responsibility means more than following the bare minimum of the law. It means taking responsibility, and responsibility requires integrity, foresight, and respect for human life at every level. Responsibility means recognizing that the right to bear arms comes with the duty to ensure safety while doing so, to de-escalate conflict before firing a weapon, and to follow logic and safety rather than endangering others. Responsibility means that those who organize and oversee public gatherings must prioritize transparency, preparation, and the well-being of all participants, not convenience or ease. And it means that responsible leadership is measured not by performative words, but by the courage to act to prevent tragedy before it happens. Responsibility takes ownership combined with action to stand accountable and face consequences for failures. Responsibility is not just a talking point, it is a moral obligation that, when ignored, leaves devastation in its wake and outcomes that cannot be undone, as I have painfully experienced firsthand. My husband Afa's death was the result of individual, organizational, and systemic failures. My intention with this lawsuit is to put my words to action, to create impact for accountability where responsibility was absent, and where negligence cost my husband his life. We all deserve to be protected by responsible policies, organizations, and safeguards that prevent senseless and avoidable violence in public spaces. 4 months ago, Afa's life was taken in the most undeserving way. My 2 children and I will have to live without Afa's enormous love, infectious light, his booming laugh, and his bold and humble Samoan presence and positivity for the rest of our lives. He was a force. A force for good and a force to be reckoned with. The sign he was peacefully holding that day read, "The world is watching." His reach was and still is worldwide, and the world is most certainly watching this moment in time. The world is watching the action in response to the senseless and irresponsible injustice that he never deserved, and that no one else deserves in the future. The world is watching how we all rise stronger together with our actions for responsibility, justice, and meaningful change. Alpha always stood for those who needed justice the most, and now I stand for him on his behalf. For his sake and for all of us, the world is watching.